Hey guys, Palsteron here, and today let's talk about my day 1 update in 3.19. So as some of you guys might have already seen, I'm playing a Caustic Arrow Ballista build. I wasn't really sure how it's going to go, right? I was starting off with Poisonous Concoction until level 70 or so, but I'm now incredibly happy on where it's at. So let's just give you guys a little bit of a show here. So basically, this build started off really easy from the get-go, and that's because I did not respec until I had a Tabby, a Lionized Glare, and Snake Bites. That helped quite a bit. Before that, I was Poisonous Concoction. There isn't really any reason to respec from Poisonous Concoction. Poisonous Concoction has so much built-in damage that unless you have a really good bow, you just cannot compete with that skill. So before you're in like yellow maps, you should probably not reroll at all. I just did like basically whatever I had to get the currency rolling, and then I bought these 3, and it just was basically a roll from there. Now T14 is for me right now a little bit hard, but I'm just going to show you how this plays out, right? So we just place totems and move, place totems and move. We're going to talk about the league mechanic a little bit later in the video. Totems and move, let's see a rare damage. The damage is pretty damn good, right? So the main problem of Trickster is that you don't have minus chaos res like an occultist would, but we do have Despair aura, so overall it's not that big of a deal. You do still feel it in maps that have chaos resistance, for example. Now, I think at this point, I think I would be able to clear everything with this, but I would not be able to clear Hidden, I would not be able to clear Feared, and I definitely wouldn't be able to clear the Conqueror Invitation, right? So for those 3, I will probably need a... I wouldn't say just a Darkscorn, probably like a Covenant. I don't even think I would need a Darkscorn. If I get a Covenant, those should be pretty damn easy to clear. All right, I'll also show you the boss right here. Let's go into the arena. Let's see what the boss damage does. Boom. Overall, pretty decent damage for a gear level. T14 boss, down. Not the craziest damage ever. Pretty much really, really good for a 19C budget. So if we're talking this setup right here, I'm around about at 25% of the damage I could be at. If I have a Covenant, if I have a Darkscorn, if I get some Chaos Res, I will be at 4 times the damage as I am right now. But both of those items are pretty expensive right now, so I'm going to wait for that, and I'm happy that I made like a version that doesn't rely on those. One thing I want to point out is that until you get a Covenant, flat damage, flat Chaos damage on both your rings, I didn't get it on the amulet, I really wanted that life roll, but also on the quiver are incredibly important because you don't have that added chaos damage level 29. But what do I have right now? So basically I respec from Poisonous Concoction once I had enough money for a Tabula, Snake Bites, and a Lioness Glare. Then I basically respec'd into the totems, and from the get-go it was really, really smooth, right? I did it all on live stream over on twitch.tv/Palsteron. If you want to check out the VOD, it's all documented there. Now I also have the Helm enchant that I bought a little bit later, if I remember correctly. So one of the important thing about this is you don't need the Helm enchant. You can also get Anomalous Caustic Arrow. And when you get Anomalous Caustic Arrow, you want that on your Ballista setup. It does basically the same as the Helm enchant. You want the quality on. If you want to get the Helm enchant, you do not need to get the Uberlab one. The normal one, this one here, 14% is also enough. So what else did I get that was fancy? So these are not really anything fancy. This is just to cap resistances. Like I said, chaos damage everywhere. This Ami I think I bought for like 10 chaos. It was really, really nice. I also got the implicit for I think around about 10 chaos. And other than that, we don't really have anything. We have the Reign of Splinter, which so far was my most expensive purchase. Overall, I would say I have around about 100 chaos in the build currently, and now I'm saving up for Covenant. I'm probably going to buy Covenant before I'm going to buy Darkscorn. The problem with buying Darkscorn early, once again, is that you then also have to gear for Chaos Resistance, which is going to cost you even more. Chaos Resistance gear, pretty hard to come by. Now, when it comes to progression, one thing that we did find out really quickly is that Harvest is actually completely garbage, so we didn't even spec into it. Somebody tested it already on Standard, looked at it, and yeah, thank the Lord that we didn't do that. Otherwise, we would have had to respec it. Instead, we basically just rushed into altars a lot quicker. Right now we're working towards Wrath of the Cosmos. As for the Atlas in general, we went through basically white maps, yellow maps. We're now in red maps, somewhere up here. We still have to complete some with 83 out of 115. Tomorrow, I want to do like some of the invitations. We're probably not going to do the hard invitations, most likely the easy invitations, and then also just farm for some currency. And once we have the Covenant, once we have the Darkscorn, we're going to do stuff like Feared. And we're also going to try to unlock all our favorite slots, we're going to get all our watch stones, all of the good stuff. But let's talk about the league mechanic here real quickly, because so far it has been a little bit disappointing for me. Now, the mini game itself, I really, really like. So you basically have an entrance here. You have these tiles that you cannot really influence, and then you have tiles that you can influence. And the influences are kind of weird. You have like rerolls here. They do different stuff. There's also like certain tiles that are better than others. They have like certain marks here, which means that they're basically harder versions of other tiles. Overall, it feels like kind of a nothing burger. It's like Blackguards, Brian Vessels. These don't really mean anything to me right now. Maybe they should mean something. But the cool thing here is basically playing around with these tiles. Now let me kill those real quickly before they're gonna come. So I don't know exactly how to get the most out of these right now. You basically want to build kind of like a snake here that's going to go as long as possible. So the longer away from the entrance you are, the more difficult these tiles get, and therefore you also get more rewards. But for example, if I could now move this one up here, it would go all the way up like a snake, and then I would get more and more rewards. So there is certain tile sets that can do that can influence it. There's also boss fights. It is quite interesting, but at the end of the day, here's my problem. These encounters are incredibly annoying, hard, and they don't drop enough loot in my opinion. There's so many chests that are just like armor, jewelry, like all the rares that you can think about, like fractured items, trash synthesis items. They're just not very good, and the currency ones just don't drop enough. Once again, I will say this once again, we have not completely figured out how this works. Sentinel at the start, a lot of people were complaining as well. But for me, Sentinel, from the get-go, from day one, I said this is going to be an interesting one. This here, I don't really know how this would ever pay off, and I think it might need a buff, but this might come back to haunt me, obviously. I think there's something beautiful here. I think there's something that's fun, something that you have to engage with, that you have to think about, but right now the reward scenario is just not quite there. However, if you're leveling, one thing I can tell you is you want to do this at least once or twice, because you can get essences extremely early. And I'm talking like you get 7-8 essences at once. And that means you can make all your gear rare. You can like take the best links. It doesn't matter if the item is white. You throw an essence on, you get some stats, maybe some resistance, some life. That is crucial. That got me such a power boost early. So that was incredible. But after that, it just didn't feel like it was worth it. Overall though, what I think so far, I'm having a lot of fun, but it doesn't really have anything to do with the league mechanic. The league mechanic is interesting to engage with. I just feel like the reward isn't there. I feel intellectually challenged, let's put it that way, but I don't feel like I'm getting anything for it. I feel like I'm wasting my time, which is not a good feeling. I really like stuff, for example, like logbooks, where you basically feel like you're getting more out if you put in more time, but this one doesn't feel like it right now. You do get more out, but it does not feel like it's worth the time investment. So maybe GG can kind of like fine tune that a little bit. Or I'm completely wrong. Grimroll will come out with the best guide ever, and it's going to be superb. Or maybe once I'm T16s, I'm decked out, all the difficulty is going to go away, and it's all of a sudden like more worth it. Right now, the difficulty gets extremely, extremely hard quick. Overall, I'm really happy with my choice. This feels very similar to Explosive Arrow. The only thing I will say is that at this point, without the Covenant, this build will fall behind something like Explosive Arrow, simply because I don't have any more power spikes left, and obviously Covenant is an expensive power spike, and Darkscorn is also too expensive. Not just a bow, because you would have to basically go for Chaos Resistance again. But overall, I'm still really, really happy with my choice. I just want to playstyle my Ballistas, brain dead playstyle, move, place, move, place, kill stuff. And yeah, see you tomorrow when I'm probably going to have all the bosses down other than maybe Feared or Hidden. But that's it for the video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, subscribe. As always, a huge shout out to my Twitch subscribers and my Patreons. I couldn't do stuff like this without you. Thank you so much for the support. And yeah, that's basically it for now. I had a blast. We just had a 12-hour stream. Thank you so much, everybody. Again, you guys were so supportive, and it was just an absolute blast. Way more fun than doing it alone, obviously. And yeah, can everybody just tell, come over to twitch.tv/Palsteron and chill with us. We're going to be playing basically all day long, or at least the 12 hours that I'm on. Let's see what happens until tomorrow. I'm going to make an update probably every day if there's something to say. But with that being said, I still don't have a slogan. See you next time.